All right. All right. There you go. All right.
All right.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great edition. This is a Renegade Radio exclusive because normally I have my crew with me, but because we're taking a 2 week break from doing the original show, I wanted to keep myself busy with some interviews, I'm able to do something kind of cool that I never got to do 5 years ago on Zoom, but got to do it. I believe it was probably through Skype or something, maybe, or maybe it was just a regular phone interview, but it was never a video interview. But this time it's a video interview, and it's with John Fred Young, who's the drummer of legendary rock and roll group Blackstone Cherry. How's it going, John?
Hey, buddy. It's going good. Thanks for the awesome introduction there. Yeah, like you said, the last time we spoke, that was, Zoom was around and Skype was around, but most everybody were doing, just phone interviews. And now, Zoom is, you can't, you can't get a grocery list from your wife without doing a Zoom call, So it's like everybody wants to do Zooms. That's kind of the way it is now. But yeah, it makes it nice because obviously you can, you know, repurpose this content. And you can put it out anywhere. So it's definitely cool. But how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's the weather is a little, I don't know, over here. I don't know how well you can see the windows or whatever, if you can or not. But there's a little fog in the air, so hopefully it'll be nice and clear, or at least our way to get to where we go travel to Fargo this afternoon. Because this is my brother-in-law, Mike. He's a huge fan of you guys.
What's going
I'm a
on,
fan
Mike? How
too,
are you?
a big supporter, but he's a really big supporter of you guys. So
It is
Thank you,
nice to meet
man.
you.
Nice to meet you. What are
Yeah,
you doing? Are you solving a Rubik's cube?
no, this is actually my boys. I just
Oh, dude.
something to fidget with, but
Oh, dude, those
yeah,
things are those are. I've tried so hard to solve Rubik's cubes,
right,
and I
right.
watch these guys do it in like point 0.2 seconds. These world champions and stuff, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it is. It's insane. Oh, excuse me, it's insane.
yeah,
Yeah, it is, man. It is.
his son's pretty
We
addicted to Rubik's cube. He can figure it out pretty much in like a matter of seconds.
Well, maybe a couple.
Well, he's gotten better
Give
at
them a little bit,
it.
study it a little bit.
Well, no.
we
Anyway,
actually got we yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah, we are just excited to be able to speak with you because I mean, I've known your dad for a little bit. Like we don't know each other like personally, but your dad has always been a big help as far as helping me get interviews with you and access to them and all the members of Kentucky Headhunters. So I like that crossover connection between the Headhunters and the Blackstone Cherry, and I know it's all about family with you guys.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, the headhunters. Obviously, for anybody watching that doesn't know what we're talking about here, my dad is Richard, who plays guitar in the Kentucky Headhunters, and my uncle is Fred, the drummer. And of course, they're brothers, and they started the band back in the they had a band called Itchy Brother, which was a amazing rock band with their cousin Greg and Anthony back in the '70s. And of course, they grew up, being kids playing together. And as they went on, they formed the Kentucky Headhunters in the late '80s and went on to do awesome stuff. Put out some awesome, amazing albums. And growing up as a kid, I got into just music through my dad and uncle and watching them, play live, and obviously hanging out at the practice house. Growing up, that's the rehearsal spot on our family farm. That when we put our band together, Blackstone Cherry, my dad and uncle let us, go down there and kind of have full reign of the place to go play music and create and stuff. So we were very fortunate to have that old house, and it's a music landmark. So we got to do some work on it, coming up, and try to get it back up to par so we can go in and do some writing and stuff in it. But no, the Headhunters have been a big support to us, and obviously a big influence, and they're they made their huge debut in country, but they were really the first rock band to ever break into the Nashville scene, at that time you had your more traditional, country sound, and you had, artists that were, like Clint Black, and, people that were doing more standard type country, which was awesome. But it you never had a band with like full stack Marshalls and big double bass kick drums and stuff. And, those guys, I mean, my dad and uncle and Greg and all of them, they were massively influenced by, classic early rock, from Zeppelin, Sabbath, Cream, the Allman Brothers, obviously all the Southern stuff, Skinner. And so we just kind of like took all those influences as teenagers when we were growing up in that house with the posters that they put on the wall. And then the new stuff that we were listening to, everything from, Metallica and Seven Dust and Korn and all the stuff that was on MTV at that time when we were, 15, 16, 17 years old.
Sure.
And just rolled it into kind of what we do. And, people sometimes are like, man, you guys are like the strangest mix of it's hard to put you guys in a genre, right? Because we have all these blues influences too from growing up at the practice house, looking at all the old Howlin' Wolf posters, BB King, Muddy Waters, and then the soul stuff from Aretha to Ray Charles, and all these posters. And being a teenager in the year 2001, the internet was still in the, it was massive, but it still wasn't like it is today, obviously. So we would, but we used it as a great tool. We'd go on and like research, what this album sounded like from this poster on the wall, and really learned a lot of stuff from just being in that place, and them giving us the ability to be there, and two, we didn't have to worry about anybody complaining about noise because it was on the farm, and we would stay down there till 2:00 in the morning and drag into school the next day. And, as soon as school was over, we'd go right back down there. So a lot of great memories at that place. And it definitely built who we are and what we sound like.
And speaking of sound, when it comes to comparing the Headhunters to Blackstone Cherry, you guys have a unique sound that's a lot more aggressive, we'll say, in some respects, than
Oh
what your
yeah.
uncle do.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that comes from a lot of the metal stuff that we grew up listening to too. I mean, obviously, there's so many great bands, but Metallica, Pantera, Seven Dust, Korn, it just there was a cool scene of metal music in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff we definitely were influenced by. And it's it's just, yeah, no, it's kind of, it's strange how we formulated our sound. I mean, Ben's like a huge Elvis fan, and he grew up idolizing Elvis. And obviously Elvis is king of rock and roll. Who didn't love Elvis? But major influence for him. And then Aerosmith for Ben. I think Chris grew up with his dad, who was an amazing guitar player. His name was Steve, and he had bands that he would play in, and he turned Chris on to early country stuff, and then also Leonard Skinner, obviously, and all the great Southern stuff. And yeah, and then Steve, our bass player, like his dad's a phenomenal guitar player too, and he grew up listening to classic country and then classic rock and Southern rock. And myself being around my dad and them, and it's wild when you put a band together, man. You get a lot of people that have similar interests, but you also have very different interest in music as well, and it makes it really interesting. And your chances of creating something genuine, if all your guys are just into one kind of genre, it can possibly get to sounding almost too much like that stylistically. But we were able to just take all the influences and kind of blend them into what we do as Blackstone Cherry, and it worked, man. We just kept at the grindstone and didn't let up.
Seems like it did. I mean, you guys have since you're former, you guys seem to be a highly successful, non-threatening band, because we don't hear no drama about Blackstone Cherry. We don't hear about no oh, this guy, had sex with that person, and it's like blah 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 blah. This person, is on drugs. This person doing that, whatever. You guys seem to be you guys can find your way in the media, but you don't find yourself in like the bad media, so to speak. There's like good things to say about Blackstone Cherry. You seem like a good bunch of Christian boys. They will just say,
Well, thank you. I mean, we are at the core, four country boys from, two small towns in Kentucky, and we were very lucky to have, great families that taught us core values, and also we're obviously all, we're very supportive of us growing up and playing music, and yeah, we're not a tabloid band. I mean, we're pretty just normal dudes. So
So, you're in Fargo tonight at the Sanctuary. You got any good Fargo memories from the past? Because I'm sure you played here before many, many times. I'm sure this
we
is not the
did.
first time.
Yep, we played here about 6 years ago, and we were gonna play, and we pulled up, and the stage was on a it was I don't even know what it was. It was blocked up with some concrete blocks. They were doing some kind of outdoor thing,
Okay.
and it did not meet the code of what it needed to, so it was unsafe. So we didn't get to play the show. And this was, like I said, I think 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, or
Okay.
longer. And it it was terrible because we were so excited. We had a lot of fans coming, but we could not play because of the shape the stage was in. And I can't remember, like I said, what year that was, but I remember we spent the rest of the day uh, walking around town and just seeing the sights because it didn't happen. But we played here a lot since then. It's always a great turnout here. A lot of rock and roll fans, and so we have a good time. We'll have a good show tonight too as well.
You guys, as you know, obviously, you released a brand new album called "Screaming at the Sky." I mean, that's just my brother-in-law had to pick that up right away as soon as the album came out, and he got it on
Yeah.
vinyl. And
Thanks, guys.
I'm hoping that maybe when we meet tonight, that maybe you guys can all sign it for him, if you're able
Yeah,
to,
we'll sign it for you, man. Absolutely.
because I like how the album, like the back cover, it has that true '80s vibe to it. Was that what you were trying to go for, or were you trying to go for more even like '70s and stuff?
Well, actually, the guy that did the album artwork, his name is Sam, and he is from England, and he, excuse me, he does a lot of great artwork that he does for a lot. I think a lot of comics and things in the art world, and so we kind of touched base with him, and man, he just knocked it out of the park. And we let him hear a couple tracks, and sent the tracks to him, and said, "Run wild with it, man. Do what you think." And it really came out incredible. And I think everybody has really really just fell in love with the artwork, and Sam did an amazing job, and it's so important too. I know, when you're growing up and you're looking at vinyl, or you're looking at CDs, like the artwork, it's come back around now because in the 70s when you would buy a record, right? Like, I was born in the 80s, so, but
Yeah, yeah,
in the 80s, 90s, and I can still remember being 8 or 9 years old and going to the record store with my dad. So seeing such the artwork blown up on a vinyl, it's so much more interesting, and there's so much more detail. Obviously, when you're just streaming something, you're getting a thumbnail of that. But vinyl's made such a huge resurgence in past years, and yeah, we didn't really have like an '80s vibe or a '70s vibe we were going for. We were actually just letting Sam do his thing, and he knocked it out of the park, man. Did a fantastic
oh yeah,
job.
it looks great. I like the cover and everything. It's just like it's unique for that because it's kind of. I mean, it feels nostalgic to me. I mean, because I
Sure,
I
yeah.
know about
Well,
what you're
thanks,
talking about,
man.
like how record company or how records used to look back in the day. People would put creativity in what they were trying to do, not just the music or whatever. You want to sell
Yeah.
the whole package and stuff, you know. And now with the fact that CDs don't sell as much as vinyls do is
Right.
surprising to me. Maybe that's not surprising to most people that I've asked about it, but I don't know. I personally still prefer the CD only because it's easier and it's like you put a disc in and you let it play. You know, there's not a whole lot
Yeah.
of work involved, but I guess I don't know. Would you prefer that the vinyl has better sound quality?
Well, it's always been, you know, a lot of people are very much, you know, into vinyl because I think it comes from obviously like we talked about the size of the artwork and
Yeah.
but yeah, vinyl to me does sound better than a CD. But at the end of the day, like it's you know, I'm still a CD guy too. Like I in my truck, I don't have a CD player in it, and it's so odd because everything is satellite or you know it's streaming or
Yeah,
so.
Spotify
Uh,
or
but yeah,
whatever.
but I mean, I've still got a CD system at my house, and you know, we still run CDs. So, but
What about when you listen to it on the bus, on the tour bus? I'm sure you guys are
on
cranking
the
out.
bus, yeah. So we don't, we can't bring a big turntable out there. So mostly what we do is we have a Bluetooth speaker, like a pretty big, nice Bluetooth speaker, and we pull it out, and everybody just kind of goes round and round on you know the playlist, what they want to play, and that comes in handy when you're on your off days because we normally you know park up at a mall or hotel, so we'll bring that if it's nice weather, not today, but if it's nice weather, we'll bring that out, and you know everybody plays their tracks, and we'll hang out and get some you know folding chairs.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're already in November, and you know, we got our snow here a couple weeks ago, or kind of last week, and it's still kind of hit and miss. I mean, where did you guys? Well, you guys been on a tour, so where were you previously prior to today?
So I'm gonna actually have to look back and see. I'll give
No.
you the full rundown. Sometimes it runs together, but we we left out the first and our the night of the first and our first show was in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at a place called Pierre's, and that was a great show. A lot of people we've played that club a lot over the years, and then the next night we did a show in West Peoria, Illinois, and that was a cool venue. We were out with a group called Giovanni and the Hired Guns and Jigsaw Youth, and they're doing a great job. I mean,
Oh,
really great lineup we've got here on this tour. And let's see, we had a day off yesterday, and the day
okay.
before we played Minneapolis at the Amsterdam bar. So we played a night in Fargo, and then we head to Billings, Montana. We're heading to Fort Collins, Colorado, out in Denver, Sioux City, Wichita, Lincoln, St. Louis, Davenport, Columbia, and we wrap it up on the 19th of this month in Cincinnati. So then
So
we're home for a good little while.
yeah. Well, I mean, that just amazes me because you guys were just like over in the UK not too long ago. I mean, traveling, I mean, as much as you guys do, it's like, you know, how often do you just get a breather? Like, how often do you like, or who
Yeah.
picks the days off and everything and just says, hey, we're just gonna just chill today.
Well, we do a lot of stuff in the UK and Europe and starting to now do more stuff in Canada. And so it's you know you have to have some really good booking agents that correlate with each other too to make sure that you know a lot of tours you know you have to plan almost 8 months in advance or a year in advance just to
Sure.
make sure that things you know aren't overlapping each other. And you have obviously we have families at home, so we have to you know we have to be home. We can't stay on the road all the time. But yeah, no, we got back from England around the 6th of October, I believe it was, I think. And we were home for about 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. So we had a good little break there. And then now this tour is you know about 20 days. So yeah, man, we're good. We're good for 3.5 weeks. Then we gotta head back home and you know see our
Oh,
families and recharge. And
Gotta have the holidays,
dogs.
man. You gotta have Thanksgiving and
Yeah,
everything, man.
man. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. Now we're honored to have you on my podcast. I've been doing this little podcast called Renegade Radio for about the last 11 episodes have the last 11 weeks, I guess we'll say. This would be week number 12 if we were actually doing an actual show, but this is just a little extra bonus, we'll just say, because normally I have a crew. I have a crew of people that would have loved to probably see, talk to you guys today, but
Uh-huh.
because everybody's so busy and stuff, we don't really get together till like Monday nights, and so. But I'm also moving to the closer to this guy here soon, so it's like a lot of stuff going on. We need a little break too sometimes,
Oh,
So
hey,
I
man.
totally understand.
Absolutely. Well,
Absolutely.
we'll be back in the area again, and hopefully we can see you guys again. So you're planning to come tonight then?
Yeah, we are definitely looking forward. We were talking to your tour manager, or I was Rachel, and she set everything up. So I hope I wasn't too much of a bother to her because I just want to make sure that everything was all good because, like I told you, sometimes we've gotten the shaft before, and it's just like
Oh, no. Rachel, she actually works at our management company up in New York. She's a good gal. So no,
okay.
but yeah, all's well, and I'll have your credentials up there later. So, yeah, like I said, we haven't even loaded in yet. So
No, that's fine. I appreciate it, and I
yeah, man.
appreciate just having you on for the job because you're a good storyteller. I'm sure we could talk for hours upon hours, and I don't know how long a
Well,
meeting will last, but I mean it should be a lot of fun to meet you guys, and especially for this guy here.
Yeah.
He's really looking forward to it. So
Yeah.
like I mean this
well,
is
you
like
guys.
a Christmas present here for him.
Well, I appreciate that so much, and it was good to talk to you guys, and
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. We'll
we'll
look forward to seeing you tonight.
all right, we'll see you tonight, guys.
All right, have a good one,
All
guys.
right, see you. Bye, buddy. See you, Sean. See you guys.